This conference will now be recorded.
In the last session, we were discussing about list views. Like in every object, we have a standard list view. In that list view, we can add our own custom list views, and we can add filters, and we can also modify standard list view. In today's session, we're going to cover custom buttons and actions. Agenda. So we have covered list views. So let's cover search layouts. Like we have to create we have lookup dialog box. So how can we customize that lookup dialog box in the Salesforce? So let's go to our Salesforce app. So if I go to accounts or a student, so between two objects, if there is a relationship, then that parent record we can select with help of a lookup dialog. With help of lookup dialog, we can select the parent. Okay, suppose between student and courses there is a relationship. Student is the parent and course is the child. If I click on course, and click on new, now you can see student is the parent object. Okay, this is the lookup icon. So if I click on this lookup icon, there is a lookup dialog open. This is the lookup dialog. Okay, in this lookup dialog, just I'm able to show only student name. Just I'm able to show only student name. Okay, just I want to show some more information about the student. Okay, suppose I want to show student name, student phone, or student email. Okay, so just I want to modify lookup dialog. Just I want to modify student lookup dialog. Okay, so for every object, if there is a relationship, for each related objects, we have a lookup dialog. So we have a lookup icon. With the lookup icon, we can open lookup dialog box. Okay, that lookup dialog box also we can modify. Okay, so let's see how to modify that lookup dialog. Let's go to course object. Okay, so this is the student lookup icon. Student lookup dialog. This is the student lookup icon. If I click on this lookup icon, we're able to see student lookup dialog. Okay, here is this is the called as student lookup dialog box. Okay, in this lookup dialog box, I want to add some more fields. I want to add some more columns here: student name, student phone number, email. So some other fields I want to add. Okay, let's see how to modify this lookup dialog in the Salesforce object. Go to object. So go to student object. Just I want to modify student lookup dialog. So just go to student object. So how can we go to student object? Go to student tab. In the student tab, you can see view object. Okay, now you can see in the student object, you can see search layouts. Okay, in the search layouts and see the search layout section, you can see lookup dialogs. Okay, in the search layout section, you can see lookup dialog. Okay, so just click on lookup dialog. Now we have add only student name. Just I want to show fee. Just I want to show student phone and student UID. Okay, so I want to show student name and student phone. Student name, student phone, student ID and fee. Student name, student phone, student UID and fee. Okay, so these four columns, these four fields I want to show in the student lookup dialog. The student lookup dialog, I want to show student name, student phone and student UID. Okay, let's save this. Uh, Give me a second. Let me share my screen again. Okay, now I have modified course lookup dialog. Now I have modified course lookup dialog. So where you can see this course lookup dialog, like we have modified student lookup dialog. So the student lookup dialog, where we can see, so we can see from course object. Okay, if you try to create a course record, so from course record you can see student lookup dialog, because course object related to student object. There is a lookup dialog, like there is a lookup or master relationship with the student object. Okay, so if I click on student lookup, if I click on the student lookup icon, you can see student lookup dialog. Now if I open this lookup dialog, there we can see 4 fields, because we have modified that field, that lookup dialog with the 3 fields. So we have added student phone, student ID and fee. So previously it was only one field, student name field. Now we have added 3 more fields into this lookup dialog. Now we are able to see more data about the student. So let's try. Suppose student and trainer. So student and trainer, there is a master detail relationship. Okay, in the master detail relationship also we can see lookup dialog. Okay, suppose if I go to students, if you try to create a student record, we need to select a trainer, because between student and trainer there is a master detail relationship. Okay, so in the student object we can see a trainer lookup icon. So if I click on the trainer lookup icon, we can see existing trainers. We can see all existing trainers. So let's try to create a student record. Students, click on new. Now you can see trainer. So for trainer also we have lookup dialog. So this is the trainer lookup dialog. If I open this trainer lookup dialog, you can see only one field, trainer name. Only one field, we have trainer name. Just I want to add one more field in the trainer lookup dialog. So where we can modify? So we can modify in the trainer object. Let's go to trainer object. Okay, so we have trainer tab. In the trainer tab, from the trainer tab, we can go to trainer object, view object. Here is the trainer object. In the trainer object, we have search layouts. In the search layouts, so here for trainer lookup dialog, so we are modifying trainer lookup dialog. So the trainer lookup dialog, let's add from the search layouts. We have just click on lookup dialog. We just add currency or owner first name, last name, record ID, so total collected fee. Let's add total collected fee. Okay, so let's I want to add one more field, created date or created by. Just want to add created by. So these 2 fields I want to add. This lookup dialog, save. Now where we can see this trainer lookup. So we can see trainer lookup from student object. While creating a student record, we can see the trainer lookup. Okay, because trainer is the parent. Okay, so from student object, from child object, you can see this lookup dialog. Okay, this is the trainer lookup. If I click on this lookup icon, you can see trainer lookup dialog. So just we have modified, like we are able to add a created by and two more fields. So previously it was only trainer name. Now we can see total collected fee and created by. We are able to add these two fields in the lookup dialog. So this way we can modify any object lookup dialog box in the search layouts. Okay, in the search layouts we can create list views and lookup dialogs. Okay, so like we have in the lightning we have something called page layout record pages. So for every object you can see some standard button. So for every object we have some standard buttons. Okay, suppose we have a new button. So this is the standard button. So if you open any record, you can see some standard buttons: edit, delete, close. These are all the standard buttons. Okay, so Salesforce provide a feature called custom buttons. So we can create our own button and we can override existing button. Okay, once we're done with the search layouts and lookup dialog, so we have to focus on buttons. Okay, so we are able to modify this page by creating a page layout and a rater list we can modify. And now we have, so we have seen like a list views, like how to create a list views, and in the record how to modify the lookup dialogs. Okay, now we have standard buttons. So here is a new is the standard buttons. If I click on new, you can see save button and cancel buttons. Okay, if I cancel, if you open any record, you can see edit button and delete button. These are all the standard buttons. Okay, so we can modify these buttons, we can override these standard buttons, and we can also create our own custom buttons. Okay, Salesforce provide a feature to create a custom button, or we can override the standard button. Okay, so for every object you can see new button. Suppose if you go to standard object, we go to contacts, and the contact, if you click on new, you can see input form. Okay, so what are the page layout we have assigned? So that page layout, that input form, we're able to access. Okay, but I don't want to redirect to this input form. I want to create my own page. Just I want to create my own page. Just I want to redirect to my own URL. Okay, so means we can override the standard button. We can override this standard functionality of this new button. New is the standard button. So this standard button has some standard functionality. What is the standard functionality of this new button? It has to open new input form. So if I click on new button, it has to open input form. Okay, this input form. So you have to provide the inputs. So if you click on save, then this record are going to save in the contact object. Okay, this is the contact input form. Okay, once provide the information and if you can save, then this record going to save in the contact object. Okay, so just as per my requirement, I don't want to go with this input form. I don't want to show this input fields. Like I want to create my own page, and that page I want to redirect. Okay, if the user clicks on this new button, I want to redirect to my page. Okay, so if the user clicks on the new button, I want to redirect to my separate page. Okay, so let's see where we can modify, where we can override these buttons, where we can override these buttons. Okay, let's go to contact object page. Okay, here is the contact tab. Now, if you want to go to contact object page, go to quick access menu. In the quick access menu, you can see view object. Okay, in the object section, you can see buttons, actions, and links. If you go to contacts, in the contact object, you can see buttons, links, and actions. Buttons, links, and actions. Just click on buttons, links, and actions. Okay, so in the buttons, links, and actions section, you can see different buttons. You can see new button, you can see edit button, delete button, contacts tab. These are all the standard buttons. These are all the standard buttons. Okay, so just I want to override this new button. So this is the new button on contact object. On contact object. Okay, if I click on contact tab, you can see new button. If I click on new button, this input form opens. Okay, so just I want to override. Just I want to override this new button. Okay, so I want to override with my own functionality, with my custom functionality. I want to override this new button. Let's see how to override this new button. Okay, in the contact object, so we are in, now we are in contact object. In the contact object, you can see buttons, links, and actions. Buttons, links, and actions. These are all the standard buttons and links. Okay, so here you can see new. New is the standard button. Okay, so just I want to modify this button. Just I want to override this new button. Okay, just click on edit. Okay, the default feature, default functional is no override, use default. Use default means go with the input form. Okay, whatever the page layout we have assigned, that page layout input form has to open. Okay, that is the standard functionality of new button. Okay, no override, use default. Okay, so I don't want to go with the standard functionality. I want to go with my own custom functionality. Like I want to override to Visual Post page. I'm creating a page, I'm creating a new page, and I want to redirect to that page. Okay, so just select the second option. So no override means we're not overriding. So if I select second option, Visual Post page. Okay, we can select Visual Post page in the dropdown, but we don't have any active Visual Post pages in the application. Okay, so we don't have any active Visual Post pages in the instance. Okay, in the Salesforce R, we don't have any Visual Post page. Okay, so we don't have any Visual Post page related to contact object. Contact object. So let's create a new Visual Post page. Okay, so the Visual Post page we are going to explore more in the development sessions. Just I'm creating a sample Visual Post page. So for the sake of understanding this button overridden, I'm creating a sample Visual Post page. Okay, so let's go to setup menu. In the setup menu, you can see, so as we have seen, like in the process of creating Visual Post tab, we have created some Visual Post pages. Okay, the same way here I'm creating a new Visual Post page. In the development section, let me show you navigation again. In the setup menu, you can see develop. Under develop, you can see Visual Post pages. Okay, so Visual Post pages. Okay, let's create a new page. Contact VF page. This is your new contact Visual Post page. New contact Visual Post page. Okay, so let's save this. Okay, Just enabling for this lightning. Just save this. I'm not doing anything here. Just I'm displaying the message here. Okay, so begin default. Remove this. Okay. So this time I want to display. Congratulations. This is your new contact visual post page. So this message I want to display in the page. Let's save. If I click on preview, you can see the output of this page. You can see the output of the page. Okay, so let's click on preview. So congratulations, this is your new contact visual post page. Okay, so this is the sample page I have created. Okay, this is a contact VF page I have created. Okay, so if I go to new button, so just I'm overriding this new button with my visual post page. Okay, let's refresh the page. If I select visual post page and in the drop down, you don't see any visual post page. Okay, so this visual post page is a sample visual post page, but we cannot say this visual post page related to contact object. Okay, so for each object has its own functionality. Okay, what are the visual post page? What are the page we are creating? So it should handle with the object data. Okay, so for that I need to modify this page as a standard controller. We are specifying here page standard controller equals to object name. Standard controller equals to object name. So whichever the object name we have to specify, so that page can handle the object related records. Okay, suppose I am specifying contact and save. So I'm specifying standard controller equals to contact means this page can handle contact related data. This page can handle contact related data. Okay, let's save this page. Okay, means this page related to contact object, not this page related to contact object. Okay, if I go back to this functionality and refresh the page. Now let's select visual post page. In the drop down, you can see contact VF page. Okay, what are the page we have created? Okay, this contact VF page we're able to access in the drop down. We're able to access in the drop down. Let's select contact VF page. Okay, so we are going with the second option. So no override is the first option. Second option is visual post page. Okay, in the visual post page section, you have to select the specific page. Suppose we have selected contact VF page. Okay, what it does, if I click on new button, if I click on the contact object, if I click on new button, then this visual post page has to open. Okay, so but generally if we enable no override, it has to open input form, but I don't want to go with the standard input form. I want to go with the custom visual post page. So I have created a visual post page, a sample page I have created, and embedded contact object. Okay, now I'm selecting visual post and selecting the visual post page name. Okay, now if I click on new button, this page has to open. This page has to open automatically. Let's save. Okay, so let's go to contacts. Okay, so in the contacts we have new button. Let's refresh the page. The contact we have new button. Now if I click on new button, this page has opened. Congratulations, this is your new contact visual post page. Okay, similarly, so just I want to override some custom object to new button. Okay, for every object new button we can override. Suppose we have a accounts. In the accounts you can see new button. So this new button we can override with the visual post page. Okay, this new button we can override with the lightning components. In the lightning, suppose we go to edit. Okay, so in the lightning version, lightning experience, we can override with the lightning component. Okay, use Salesforce Classic or lightning component. Okay, so once we have a lightning components, so the same lightning component we can select. Okay, if I click on new button, then from there it redirects to lightning component. So here in the classic, we are able to redirect to Visual Post page. So if I click on new button, automatically in the contact object, we have overridden new button. So if I click on new button in the contact object, it opens Visual Post page. Custom UI it has to open. So by default functionality is it has to open the input form. So default functionality of the contact new button is input form. It has to open the input form. Okay, now we can override accounts. Okay, in the accounts, go to view objects, and in the object you can see buttons, links and actions. So here you can see new button. Here also you can override the new button in the account object. Okay, so let's try with the custom object. Let's try with the custom object. Okay, suppose we have student object, Salesforce master. Okay, let's go to student or course object. If I go to student, so you can see new button for the courses. So for every custom object tab, you can see a new button. Okay, let's go to students tab. Just click on students tab. Now you can see new button. If I click on this new button, it has to open input form. This input form we're able to open. Okay, the same thing, like I want to override this new button with my custom Visual Post page. Custom Visual Post page. Okay, how can we override? Let's go to this student object. Okay, so we have the student tab. Let's go to the student object page. Go to view object. Okay, in the object page you can see buttons, links and actions. Button, links and actions. Okay, in this we can see new button, edit button, delete button. We can modify, we can override any button here. Okay, just I want to modify, just I want to override this new button. Just click on edit. Okay, so the first option is no override, use default. No override, use default. The second option is Visual Post page. The second option is Visual Post page. Okay, so from the drop down you cannot see any page. We don't see any Visual Post page in the drop down because there is no page related to student object. Okay, we have one page, that page not related to any object, and we have one more page, so that page related to contact object, but we don't have any page related to student object. Okay, let's create one more page, one more Visual Post page in our application in the Salesforce app. Okay, go to develop, go to setup menu. In the develop section you can see Visual Post pages. Okay, create a new Visual Post page. Okay, so let's give the page name as student VF page. Student VF page. Okay, so the same message I want to display in this page. Same message, like congratulations, you have created new VF page, new Visual Post page for your students. For your students. Okay, so this message I want to display on the output. So if I click on preview, just save, and if I click on preview, let's add something here. So let's add sidebar equals to false. Save. So sidebar, like I don't want to show this sidebar. This sidebar just I want to hide. Okay, so here I'm adding sidebar equals to false. So sidebar equals to false means, so this UI I don't want to show. Okay, only the output I want to show. Okay, if I click on view, if I click on preview, this output, this message has to display in the page. Just click on preview. Congratulations, you have created new Visual Post page for your students. Okay, this is the content I am displaying on the page. Okay, if I go to override section, so refresh the page, if I select Visual Post page, you don't see any VF pages in the drop down. Okay, because this page is the individual page. This is the page is the individual page, but not related to student object or any object, any other object. Okay, so let's embed student object in this page. Let's embed student object in this visual post page. How can we embed? So we have to make use standard controller equals to object name. Standard controller, like the standard functionality which you want to override, so that object name we have to specify. Okay, so just click on edit. Okay, now let's add standard controller equals to, so which object we have? Student object. So we have to copy object API name. Object API name. So where we can see the star object API name, go to view object. Okay, now this is the object API name. So we have to specify object API name in the visual post page. Okay, so standard controller equals to object name. Okay, here is the student underscore underscore C is the student object API name. Okay, let's save. Okay, so available for lightning experience. Let's enable save and preview. Now this same content we are able to display. So let's go back to our student new button override functionality. Okay, now we can see we are in student, the student object, we are overriding new button. Okay, if I go to students tab, if I open student tab, if I click on new, you can see input form. Okay, I don't want to open this input form, I want to open my visual post page. Okay, this page, this output I want to show with a new button. Okay, if I click on new button, this content has to open, this content has to display. Okay, let's try to override. Okay, let's refresh the page. Okay, I'm overriding student object new button. Just I'm overriding student object new button. Okay, let's refresh the page. Now let's select visual post page. Okay, in this drop down you can see student VF page. Student VF page. The student VF page which we have created just now. The student VF page. Okay, this page we are overriding with a new button. Okay, student VF page. Just save. Now if I go to student tab, if I go to, once I refresh, okay, once I refresh the page, and if I click on new button, see, congratulations, you have created your post page for your students. Okay, this way we are able to display our own custom pages. So in this page, going forward, we're going to discuss more about this visual post page. In the visual post page, we can add any CSS, we can add any JavaScript features, we can add any HTML5. Okay, so the content, the design, the UI, we can UI design we can implement and we can override with the standard buttons. Okay, so suppose let's try to override a edit button or delete button. Okay, so suppose we have a course object. Okay, in the course object, if I open any course record, you can see edit button. Okay, if I click on edit button, so input form has to open to modify this record. Okay, so I don't want to open this input form. I want to redirect to somewhere else, like I want to redirect to some website or some other page. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here, just I want to override this edit button, and I want to override this edit button. Okay, so edit button on course object. In the course object, if I open any record, in the record, if you see edit button, if I click on edit button, so I don't want to redirect to this input form, just I want to redirect to some other page. Okay, let's see how to override this edit button. Okay, so go to course object. So we are in course object. In the course object, we have a standard button called edit. So this edit button I'm trying to override. Okay, just click on, go to this course object. Okay, go to view object. Okay, so in this object you can see buttons, actions and links. So button, links and actions. Okay, in the buttons, links and action section we can see a button called edit. Okay, we can override new button, edit button, delete button, clone button, accept button. So we can override any of these button here. Okay, just I want to override the edit button. Okay, if I click on edit, so I want to redirect to some other page. Okay, just click on edit. Okay, this edit button I want to modify. I want to override the edit button. Okay, so select. We don't have any Visual Post page related to course object. Related to course object. Okay, we can create a new Visual Post page, and we can embed the course object in that Visual Post page. Then we can select that Visual Post page from this drop down. Okay, let's create one more Visual Post page, or let's modify the existing Visual Post page. Okay, this Visual Post page we cannot modify because already we are using this Visual Post page in the button override. So let's create a new Visual Post page. Visual Post page, create a new. Okay, so remove the content here. Remove. Okay, so you have created page for your courses. Okay, so this message I want to display. Suppose the page name is course page. Okay, so course page. Okay, so let's add the course object. We have course, right? So course object API name we have to copy. Do object. Okay, so this is the course object API name. It is a course object API. Let's copy this object name. Okay, in this page we have to specify object name. Okay, we have to embed object API names as a standard control. Standard controller equals to course underscore C. Okay, let's save. Okay, let's add sidebar equals to false. Sidebar false and save. Okay, this is the Visual Post page I have created. So now I am overriding edit button on course object. Okay, so let's see. We are on course object. Okay, course object edit button we are overriding. Okay, once I refresh the page, now this drop down is empty. Okay, once I refresh the page, that page, what are the page just we have created, that page has to load in this drop down. Okay, let's refresh the page. Now you can see, just select Visual Post page, and in this drop down you can see course page. Select the course page and save. Okay, so if I go to course, okay, for the course new button, so we don't have any overridden for this new button. So let's go to course tab. If I open any course record, in the course record you can see edit button. If I click on edit button, the standard functionality is it has to open an input form. In the input form we can modify this page, we can modify this record. Okay, so now we are overriding this edit button with the Visual Post page. If I click on this edit button, it has to open the Visual Post page. Congratulations, you have created a Visual Post page for your courses. Okay, so that edit button we are able to override with the Visual Post page. Okay, so similarly we can override clone button, delete button, new button, and sharing button. What are the buttons available on that object? We can override any standard button in the object. Okay, so every object, so generally every standard object and custom object has some buttons. So by default, like we have a new button. So for every object we have a new button. So that button we can override with the Visual Post page. In Lightning we can override with the Lightning component. Like suppose we have any custom Lightning component. So that custom Lightning component we can override. And similarly, if you open any record, suppose in the course object we have a records. So in the every record page, you can see edit button, delete button, and clone buttons. These buttons also we can override with the Visual Post page. And similarly, the Lightning, so this edit button, delete button, and clone buttons we can override with the Lightning components. Okay, so this way we can override existing buttons. Means we can override all standard buttons in the Salesforce. Okay, in the next session, in the tomorrow session, we're going to discuss how to create a custom button. The same kind of functionality I want to implement with my custom button. Okay, so here, suppose let's go to student, or in the student, if you open any record, you can see edit button, delete button, and clone button. So similarly, I want to show my own button. Okay, I want to show custom VF page button or VJ button. So I want to create my own button, and that button, that custom button, I need to configure in this page. Okay, in tomorrow's session, let's see how to create a custom button and how to add that custom button in the page. Okay, so we have two types of button: list buttons and detail page buttons. So how to create the list buttons and how to create the detail page button in our tomorrow session. Okay, yeah, that's it for today. If you have any questions, let me know. And so this is very simple. Like you have to practice. Like you have to create some Visual Post pages, and you have to override the functionality with the standard buttons or custom buttons.
Vijay,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry. So I had one doubt. మన ఇప్పుడు జస్ట్ ఒక
Yeah.
పేజ్ లో మనం ఆల్రెడీ ఎడిట్ చేసాం. ఎడిట్ చేశాక అందులో ఐ మీన్ స్టాండర్డ్ యాక్షన్ అని చెప్పేసి ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ నేమ్ ఇచ్చాం. తర్వాత ఎడిట్ చేస్తే అది డిఫాల్ట్ కి వెళ్ళిపోతుందా, లేకపోతే ఏమైనా ఎర్రర్ లా త్రో చేస్తుందా?
సుమన్, నాకు అర్థం కాలేదు యాక్చువల్గా. పేజ్ లో
ఇప్పుడు మనం విజువల్ పోస్ట్ పేజ్ క్రియేట్ చేసాం కదా. ఓకే, ఆ విఎఫ్ పేజ్ లో మనం ఒక దానికి యాక్షన్ కి ఐ మీన్ స్టాండర్డ్ యాక్షన్ అని చెప్పేసి అక్కడ ఒకటి ఇస్తున్నాం. అంటే ఐ మీన్ ఏదో ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఏపీఐ నేమ్ ఇస్తుంది. సో తర్వాత ఫంక్షనాలిటీ అయిపోయాక మనం దాన్ని రిమూవ్ ఐ మీన్ ఎడిట్ చేసాం, వేరే ఏపీఐ నేమ్ అట్లా ఇచ్చినప్పుడు. సో పాతది డిఫాల్ట్ గా వెళ్ళిపోతుందా, లేకపోతే ఎర్రర్ త్రో చేస్తుందా?
సో ఎందుకంటే ఆ పేజ్ ని మనము బటన్ లో యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం కాబట్టి ఆ పేజ్ ని మనం మాడిఫై చేయలేము, ఆ పేజ్ ని డిలీట్ చేయలేము. బికాస్ వీఆర్ యూజింగ్ సమ్వేర్ దట్ బటన్, ద బటన్ ఓవర్ రైడ్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీలో ఆ పేజ్ ని వాడుతున్నాం కాబట్టి బై డిఫాల్ట్ ఆ పేజ్ రిలేటెడ్ టు కోర్స్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్. సపోజ్ మనం కోర్స్ అనే కోర్స్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం. సో బై డిఫాల్ట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ గా పనిచేస్తుంది.
ఓకే,
ఎనీ క్వశ్చన్స్?
థాంక్స్ విజయ్. నో. బై.
Okay, we'll have session tomorrow 8 p.m. Bye everyone. Good night.